Hey guys, hope y'all are well. I said I might put this together on camera, but I don't know, it just gets boring, time consuming, and there's a dozen or more bolt for bolt videos on 372s on YouTube already, and let's face it, most of that's boring anyway. We got this together. It's a little better quality than the last one I had, but it's not as high quality parts as the ones for the 440 was that we just done. 95% of those parts were really nice. Cases on these did line up, but they had corrosion all over them. Anywhere there was bare metal, there was corrosion. I'm guessing they're probably in a container ship for a while, who knows. I'm not going to get into squish or timing numbers till we see how it runs, but I have pulled them. Timing numbers are okay, we can work with them. I can actually move them a lot, but squish is horrible. I don't have a way to deck a Husqvarna cylinder. I can do the flat steel ones, but Husqvarna, there's just no way for me to do it. I'm not going to pay somebody to do it on a Chinese kit saw, just for fun anyway. Next thing I'm going to do is show you the cylinder before, and then once I get done with the port work, we'll show you, and then hopefully you see the thing in action, and I may or may not go over what numbers I chose and why I chose them. Okay, what we got here, it's that cheapish coating they use. The coating on that 440 was different. Almost looked chrome plated, I guess. This looks like your typical $29.95 Farmertec special you'd pick up off of eBay. Piston looked the same, just had that old dull coating on it. Ports are rough. The bolt holes do seem to line up, I think. No more when I go to put a muffler on it. On a positive note, the squish band looks good, but on an unpositive note, it is a mile away from the dang piston crown. Intake port, it don't look as rough as the exhaust. These do have some pretty good sized intake and exhaust ports from the get-go. You could just put this on a saw and run it, I think. I'd probably take some sandpaper around the edges of that exhaust port, but anyway, I'm going to get into porting this thing and I'll show you what I come up with when I'm done. Got one side of the transfers roughed in. The other side we've not touched, side we've done. You get the idea. They're hogged out all the way to the bottom, and we've lowered that lip actually below the base. You don't have to go that far, but I really don't care about this top end, so I'm going to push things like that to the limit, I guess. Okay, transfer ports done. What thought we're going to do with them, we roughed them in and took a cartridge roll, and you don't polish them, just smooth them up. You don't want them polished, but you don't want them rough either, if it makes sense. Anything rougher than 200 grit, fuel won't puddle. So 200 grit and below, you're fine. You could probably even finish up with 320, but I think the rolls I'm using are 200 grit, so they leave a pretty good finish. No, it ain't 100% even and true and symmetrical, but it really don't matter anyway. Not trying to make a piece of art, we're just trying to make a saw run a little better. Do our intake port next. I know about where to move it for where I want my timing to be, so get that roughed in, smoothed up, and then give you a look after. There's a finished product. We roughed it up. I could probably open it up a little more at the top. That's really not going to matter. Your boot overhangs a little bit anyway. We're just kind of going for a cone effect anyway for velocity. The inside is huge. I ended up pulling a little bit of metal over here. If you've ported, you know what I mean. OEM cylinders do it too. It's nothing you can do about it. It just happens. Then you end up taking a lot more material than you planned on taking. Trying to fix it, but we got a good smooth port. It's not polished. If it looks that way on the camera, I promise you it's not. Again, not perfect, not 100% symmetrical. We're not a lathe. We're just trying to make the old saw run a little better, or in this case, a new saw. Gonna get to the exhaust port, may as well show you. The casting in that thing's rough. I don't even think I'll put a carbide cutter on for this. Or actually, I've got 2 hand pieces set up. I keep one for cartridge rolls. It's a little more torqueier than a Dremel. And this is just Dremel flex shaft. I've got the biggest of Dremels you can get. That whole setup, you're probably looking at $150 once you get a pedal and everything. But this, you can pick it up online or at Harbor Freight, $50. And it comes with a pedal and it will kick a Dremel's ass. It just has a lot more torque, runs quieter. Have no idea how long it'll last, but I've used crap out of it since I've had it, and the bearings in the handle still feel great. And to my understanding, I've not ever tried it, but those really expensive right angle hand pieces you can buy will hook right up to this thing. Thought I'd share that. We'll get that exhaust port done. I don't even know if you'll be able to see the thing from the inside. We'll give you a look at it, and then maybe try to get this cylinder glued on the crankcase tonight. Alright, exhaust port done. That's about all we're going to do to it. It is ever so slightly widened, opened up, cleaned up, polished. Another quick overview of the rest of it. We hogged out transfers, lowered the cylinder there next to the transfers. You don't have to go that low. I don't know if I'd recommend going any lower. That's just below the base. You can go just even with the base on these. Our hogged out intake manifold that's probably gonna end up having more timing than I wanted, but we'll just have to see. Once I see that the saw runs good, timing numbers, this will all probably be in one video. The next thing you'll see is probably this thing running, or me giving my thoughts about it and then showing you how it cuts. And of course there'll probably be an intro with the thing cutting, but show you more then. It's really cold here, probably less than 30 degrees. gonna try to wrap this up kind of quick. Really happy with the way the saw cuts. It's that really hard elm we brought in. It's frozen. It was about 25 this morning when I done the start up of this thing. I think I got that video clip in this too. Squish on this thing was horrible. It's like 50 thousandths. I was not going to take the cylinder an hour away and have it decked just to pick up 10-15 psi. Before I even started the saw, it had 150 psi, which means we'll end up with 160-ish once it's broke in. Not for sure if I'm going to do anything else with the saw. It was a fun build. I'm going to say 95% of the parts were good. Cylinder kind of cheapish, but it did port up nice. Timing numbers, exhaust port 152 degrees of duration, open and closing 104 degrees. We left it very mild due to the squish being very loose at 50 thousandths. Transfers open at 125. We have 21 degrees blow down. That's great. Anywhere from 20 to 25 degrees. Most saws are happy. Some do like less, some like more, but just all depends on the design. I showed you the port work. Opened up transfers really well. Intake port, I pushed it to the max that I'd do most any saw. Open and closing 80 degrees, 160 degrees of duration. As for now, ignition timing stock. If I feel it could handle a little more later, we may pull the flywheel and advance it a degree or two. You don't want to get too carried away with that, but it does help on some saws, or most that I've done. We added a second port to the muffler. The only thing I might like to do is maybe do a full wrap on it and do the big tall HD cover, but I've also got thoughts of building another one and doing the big bore setup on it. But who knows, this thing seems to have plenty of power. Thing started, I think, on the 4th or 5th pull when I went to start it. And it seemed to tune in and run really well since, so I'll probably take it this weekend, put some time on it, and then give you some more thoughts about it. But as of right now, I think I'm going to be happy with it. It's fun to put together. I hadn't done one of these in like 2 years. I'm going to quit rambling about it, and I thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.